How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the new Bartesian Duet Home Cocktail Maker. The new Bartesian Duet, Bartesian's most compact cocktail maker, crafts premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Duet Cocktail Maker. And now, get our best deal ever on the new Bartesian Duet, plus free shipping when you go to bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian Duet is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. And now, get our best deal ever on the new Bartesian Duet, plus free shipping when you go to bartesian.com/cocktail. Hurry, offer ends soon. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail, bartesian.com/cocktail.
All aboard for your chance to win $1,000 every week until December 28th. That's right, $1,000 cash just in time for the holidays. To hop on board, just head to churchillmortgage.com and punch your ticket to the Churchill Express giveaway. Visit churchillmortgage.com for your chance to win big.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
Steering wheel. Left steering wheel here. Steering wheel. Hey, steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to him. Come on. Whoa.
Do you like my bass? You like it?
How the f*** is that possible?
I'm driving like a grandma.
Get that, Ralph? Did you hear me?
From our radio, the rest of the race.
Ralph, acknowledge. Now come on, close it down and kill him.
We've got a lunatic on the track down the Hanger State.
I am so annoyed. Hello and welcome back to the Parc Fermé for podcast number 740, believe it or not. That's hard to believe, folks. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
AKA Negative Camber. And tonight, for your kind consideration, we're going to cover the news of Formula One. But before doing that, yes, you can kind of see if you're watching on YouTube, we have lots of people to introduce. The first we have to introduce, we have to go all the way to the right coast of America, Nessun, our nation's capital, where she does like stuff for people who need to know things. She's really good at that stuff for people who need to know things. It's the lovely, the redoubtable Grace. How you doing?
I'm going to put that on my resume or on a shirt or something. That's pretty good.
I like it.
Does stuff for people who need to know things. Yeah, that's it. That's what I do.
You do stuff for people. Well, Grace, as you can tell by the YouTube video here, we also have to introduce our second, the trifecta, if you will, but he's not nestled down in Dallas plying his skills as the logistics genius of motorsport and the strategy king of motorsport. No, he's sitting right next to me. I literally can reach over here and touch him.
Quit it.
That's Paul
Grace,
Charsley.
he's touching me. Yeah.
Both of you to your rooms.
It's amazing. Paul is in town, and so he just said, look, I'm going to be in town. You know, you got me for about an hour, dude. So, you know, if you want to do it, that's it, man.
Make it snappy.
Otherwise, I'm like Lewis. I'm off to my house in the Hamptons, and, you know, that's how motorsport people run.
Yep.
He has the outfit for it, so.
Yeah.
The Lewis outfit, you think?
Yeah.
He'd be lucky to have a shirt like this.
Yeah, this is the part of the Paul Charsley collection from Tommy Hilfiger.
Yes.
Yeah. Me, I'm wearing something right out of the David Niven's collection, Jacques Penier, the beach loungewear for the weekend.
I don't remember David Niven wearing anything like that. No.
He was look good, though.
He did. He was a very smart fellow.
Yeah. He's a very handsome man.
Very.
Great. So, Grace, there is some Formula One news, and I thought it would be fun to have you and I talk like we normally do, but have Paul along, because Paul, unfortunately, feel sorry for Paul, because he's normally relegated to race review podcasts only. He doesn't get the fun of Albon's Cats and all the other things that you and I do. So, Paul.
I listen on all the time, and I'm just like, If only I get that chance, that one big moment, that chance.
I know. So
it's so much.
It is. And so, Paul, now's your chance. Just start saying some funny stuff.
Macadamia nut.
which is a nut. You quit naming nuts. So anyway, Grace, how you doing? You doing all right? Everything's up on the East Coast. You're keeping the capital together. Everything's going.
That's a big task for one person. I don't think I can barely keep my own life together, let alone the whole capital, man.
Okay, well, I guess
Someone's got to do it.
I guess I have very high expectations for you. She's drinking.
That's a very big glass of wine.
It's a very big glass of wine.
It's a very reasonable glass of wine.
It's a big glass of wine.
It's a little wine in a very big glass. That's the,
It's a red. You have to aerate. You have to have a big glass.
No, to that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, fill it all the way to the top.
She's like,
I ordered an actual glass of wine, not a smidge of wine.
Take the box, just put the tube right in there like a Camelback, right? Why even bother dirtying a glass?
Yeah. Oh, why not have a Camelback? That'd be good for you in the pit lane.
But true. That would be good. Probably frowned upon by the IMSA folks.
If you drive, never drink.
Huh?
If you drive, never drink.
Yes.
Right.
Jackie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
All cool strategy on the pit wall after a couple. Bet. There's only 3 rounds left.
Screw it. It doesn't matter. Just park it. Have a wine.
Yeah.
Box. What's the third one? Yeah.
Right. Oh, boy.
Only change the left front tire. They'll throw them off.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll never understand the strategy now.
So, Grace, got some bad news for you to start this podcast off. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but Australia is out.
Where's your wow?
Next story.
Paul, I have.
She's all broken up.
I have that here, Paul.
Yeah. She needed that. That's like the in-between bit.
I said Australia's out, and it was kind of like
I don't want.
You know.
Well, Paul just went. What else is there to say, right? Like that's the right
emotion. I got a big emotion about that. I couldn't hold it back.
That's right. Paul can't hold it back. His disappointment is off the chart, Grace.
Yeah.
That's right. So yes. Anyway,
mainly to do with the football yesterday, but Australia's a second.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I have done a Paul Charsley and printed out my notes, but I'm gonna go through this. So F1 said this quote that they are confident we can deliver 23 race season in 2021, and we have a number of options to take forward to replace the place left vacant by the Australian Grand Prix. We'll be working through the details of those options in the coming weeks, and we'll provide further updates once the discussions are concluded. It's very unfortunate because it's a fun race, it's a terrific track, fun and unique circuit, but I mean, I don't want to speak out of school here, Grace, but I mean, I don't want to second guess what Australia's decision is, and that's all their deal. But I will say that a country where every single animal, insect, reptile, and fish is out to kill you, I was kind of hoping they could muscle it up and get through a Grand Prix, But
rise above it.
I don't know. COVID's also trying to kill them, so maybe.
Well, yeah.
Nothing scares the Australians.
Nothing scares. They're all hardy folk down there.
Yeah, well.
I
don't know.
It's got anything to do with the timing.
Maybe.
Obviously, if they really want to race next year, it'd be coming up pretty quick after the one that
Yeah.
I think the backup plan is just, Stefano Domenicali just has like a dartboard and just puts all the races that we're currently at and just like throws darts at it. And we're like, Austria again, race 3. That's our backup plan so that we still get 23 races,
Right. It could get done at the end of the year and we end up just like 5 Austrias.
That would be so great.
Or just tack it on to the beginning, call it the end of last season. Like, you have one Australia that was last season, and then we have second Australia that's this season, right? So then you have your 2 Australias, but they count differently.
So they can really party at the season-ending big party that they miss.
And just carry it over.
Australia. And just have a couple of days for hangovers.
That's
and then start the new season.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe, I like that, Grace. It's really actually the 2021-2022 season.
Right.
I like that. So, it's unfortunate. They're going to look for other locations. And stay tuned to this podcast. I have more news about that coming up. Next up, I want to talk about, and I'm keen to get your guys' input on this. So Lewis Hamilton, just before the last race, had inked a brand new deal. Now, while George Russell thinks that Lewis is like wine and just gets better with age, I suspect bigging up your potential new teammate is a good move. But it's clear that Mercedes feel the same because they've inked a new 2-year deal with Lewis. Not a 1 year, a 2-year. Now, unlike last year when he dragged his feet on a new deal and then he got COVID, as well as George's performance, that rubbed some of the luster off his negotiating position last year. This year was totally different. He's like, I want a deal now, and I want it now this summer. And so they've got a new deal. It's a 2-year. If this year goes pear-shaped, then having 2 more years and a brand new regulation is set to beat Schumacher's record, well, that's a good move because you've got Lewis now, he's a 7-time world champion. You're trying to beat Schumacher's record. If this year ends up going Red Bull's way, you've got a brand new regulation set. And who better to lead you into that new era of potential domination than Lewis Hamilton, right? So so that's what they do. So Grace, your thoughts on Lewis's new 2-year deal? I will say this, just let me unload all my thoughts and then I'll get both of your opinions. So it does make you wonder a little bit about Mercedes and their public comment about focusing mainly on the 22 car and not upgrading this year's car so much. Maybe they are all in on next year's car and Lewis at the helm set for another 7-year domination, right? Because it's important once you get these regulation changes like they did in 2014. This was a big deal because they came out with that advantage and that lasted for mainly the entire regulation set, right? So it does make you wonder that. The bigger question is, I'm curious to know from both of you, would you have paid the reported 80 million pounds for Lewis for 2 years? And I'm kind of curious. So we'll start with you, Grace. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what that's relative to, right? Like, yes, that sounds like a lot of money to me, but I'm also not a Formula One driver, right? So, I mean, I get it. Lewis is, of course, going to be paid more than anybody else probably on the grid, but I don't know how much Bottas is paid, right? Like, I don't know what the comparison is. But yes, is my short answer. Why wouldn't you?
Okay. Paul?
Well, first off, I don't know how many butts George Russell needs to kiss in the Formula One paddock.
He's kissing a lot.
He's like a fine wine. He's switching helmets with Alonso. Yeah. He's dropping, Norris off at the
Has he been playing backgammon with Christian Horner?
Yeah, probably. He's making friends with everybody. He's
everybody.
Like, there's got to be an opportunity out there somewhere, and if everyone likes me,
right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just an interesting comment by George. I love George to death.
Yeah,
I'd take a bullet for him, but
well, sure you would.
Come on now. Let's get on with it, George. Be a bit more ruthless. You're going to need it.
Yeah,
when they move you up next year.
Yeah.
For Lewis, obviously, if his motivation is there, then obviously it's a really good idea to do it as sooner than later. And I think he learned by what happened when George jumped in his car and he was still negotiating his contract.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yep.
That things can, even though you're a 7-time champion, there's other people out there, so let's me secure the deal now and not let anything else get in the way in case, George Russell comes along or whoever,
right,
and they decide they don't need me at all,
right,
and I'm stuck on my 7 championships. So I think the money sounds probably okay. I mean, Lewis Hamilton is bigger than just driving the car, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, it's the promotional side of Lewis Hamilton plus the heritage that Lewis Hamilton has had with Mercedes, that Mercedes can't be seen to just discard him when, young hotshot George Russell comes along.
Right. And the panache and the pizzazz.
Right, lots of pizzazz.
Pizzazz.
Razzle-dazzle.
Lots of razzle-dazzle with him. Interesting.
Yeah. Plus, they've already been through all the permutations, right? Like, here's all the pieces of paper I pushed across the desk last year. Where do you want to start, right? Like,
right.
What other demands could he have that they haven't already talked about? Like, I could see that part of, which I think Toto said, like, we'd already been through this.
Yeah, right.
So it made it faster this time because we'd already been through all the paper pushing the first time.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I would have paid 80 million.
No? Mm-mm. Yeah, as I say, I mean, not literally just to drive the car, but I think there's so many other ramifications underneath that probably makes it reasonable for a company like Mercedes.
The one thing I didn't see about that, he was kind of keen to want to do a driving / like post-driving sort of thing, Mercedes. And I didn't, that was last year, I recall. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to sort of be like a continuing brand ambassador after he got out of the car. And then he said that again kind of earlier this year as he's going into these negotiations. But I didn't see anything about that.
I think maybe he's found out he doesn't have as much pull to just literally have them spend that kind of money on him after racing. They're paying him to be a racing driver.
Yeah, because that's kind of, that gets into FU money,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how much would you have paid for Lewis?
That's a good question. To me, you've got a complete regulation change. So when you're going through something like that, having Lewis there would be really, really important for that big regulation change and having that history with the team and the car and everything else. So I could see that, and I could see paying him quite a bit. If that's the right number, and that's just the rumors I've seen, which is 40 million pounds a year. I don't know. It seems expensive given the options that you might have.
Right, but think about this year's been a bit different, where Red Bull and Max Verstappen are actually beating Mercedes.
Yeah, right.
Right, so it's not like, we just put another guy in the Mercedes car and we just keep winning the championships. Now they've really got a fight on their hands, and they need Lewis Hamilton.
They do, because he's the kind of guy that'll dig super deep.
Right. They need him, his guidance experience. They need someone else other than Bottas, I'm pretty sure. But there's no one that's going to slot right in there and take that team and take the fight to Max right now. So.
That's true.
And you wouldn't want him to go somewhere else either.
Yeah.
Right? You could see Red Bull being like, Max Verstappen who? Whatever, Lewis, we love you, right? Like, there's also that component of it too. You would just want him to retire, not go to another team.
You see that, Christian Horner going, come on, Lewis, come on, sit down next to Ginger. We're going to have some dinner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome.
We know that he is his kid's favorite driver, so why not?
It's true.
Yeah, that's
Come
right.
on over.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's all good points, and it makes all the sense in the world to have him there, especially through a regulation change. I'm trying to parse through the cost cap, which driver salaries aren't in there, but this doesn't have that mad Mercedes money behind it anymore. They're a minority.
A third of them.
Yeah, it's a third of it. So it's really out of Toto and Ineos. Now if Ineos said, we'll cover his salary, then okay. But I have to think that they're working on a much more limited well of cash than they have been in the past.
I would say. I don't think probably that money is the most money is made race driving for them.
Yeah, it may not be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I think it would be interesting to see what other teams spend, on this, outside of Ferrari, right? Like, because that's like part of it. Like, Ferrari spent less money this season. What does that mean? It's still probably like 7 times what Williams spent, right? So I don't have a sense of what relative.
What Max is getting paid.
Yeah. That's a good point. I don't think it's 40 million.
I don't think it's
pounds a year.
No, but it would be.
It's about to be a lot more, right?
It's about to be a lot more. Yeah, if he's got like bonus out the wazoo. Let's see. In other news, the FIA's new sprint race set for the British Grand Prix, Paul.
I'm excited.
Was that sarcasm?
Oh,
Paul's excited.
I don't know.
Did you get a whiff of sarcasm there, Grace?
Again, it was similar to when you said, what about the Australian Grand Prix? I also found a tinge of sarcasm in the noise that he made, right? So I'm just...
Wow, you see me, it's like I don't know. You see me like a glass of water. You just see right through me.
It's right through.
Well, I agree. I agree on both counts, actually, but I definitely agree on this count. I hate this whole, sprint race idea.
I hate more that the poles are going to be counted for the sprint race win. I've got more problem with that than the sprint race himself, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's like a pole qualifying is a whole different discipline. I think I said that in the last podcast. And you're still having a qualifying, so why can't that still count as poles are not poles.
Right.
You know, a race is a race, and a qualifying is a qualifying. They should be different. You know.
Right.
You know, the qualifying. I'm fine seeing a qualifying race and see what happens.
And you're fine giving out points for the results of the top 3 of the qualifying?
No.
Okay. Well, let me.
Is that what they're doing?
Well, here's.
Good God, man.
Get your whiteboard ready.
Here. Well, I've got
points
some
me
notes.
prizes. Yeah.
I've got some notes. So F1 will premiere its new sprint race this weekend, the British Grand Prix, which features a 100-kilometer. What is that? 100 kilometers? Is that like 2,000 miles? What is it?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay. So 100. Sorry, I'm on old money over here. 100-kilometer race on Saturday afternoon in lieu of qualifying, Paul. The qualifying session will now move to Friday evening, and the result of that session will set the grid for a 17-lap sprint race on Saturday. The result of the sprint race will then set the grid for the British Grand Prix on Sunday. The winner of the sprint race will be considered the winner of pole position for the actual Grand Prix on Sunday, and the top 3 sprint race finishers will receive points on a 3-2-1 scale. The World of Motorsport Council approved of the format and rules earlier this week, but it's a special session. The actual just because it's a special like sprint race, the actual 17-lap race will feature the same FIA scrutiny as any other full Grand Prix, according to race director Michael Massey. That means that such things as penalties, on-track incidents, and other infractions will be treated just the same as it would be during a Grand Prix. Here's what he said. If we find an incident that 2 drivers are involved in the Grand Prix here, we can apply a grid penalty for the next Grand Prix. So grid penalties and time penalties for driving infringements and so forth, those penalties will be applied. The rest of the regulations regarding power units and so forth, which is subject to approval from the F1 Commission and the FIA World Motorsport Council later this week, but they will be applied in a different way and focused on the race. But things that affect your grid starting position will, from the perspective of a driving infringement or anything like that, will be applied either as a grid or a time penalty at the time.
Got that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you get all that, Grace?
Oh, yeah.
Crystal clear.
Good stuff.
We're still going to be
excitement.
Yeah, the stewards are going to be just as on top of their game for 2 races as they are for 1 race.
Yeah, Derek Warwick is going to get double money.
That's right.
Double the penalties.
You know what's better? Going into a weekend and having a weekend of inconsistent stewarding calls, what better to do than to double down and give
right.
it what we want.
More of that.
We want more of
We
that.
loved it so much in Austria. We want more.
You know what they should be? They should do the opposite. Like they should just be consistent within each race. Like so sprint race, if you go out, I'm just going to turn 9, that's a penalty. But in race 2, turn 9's fair game. Do what you want.
Right. It's perfect. I don't know.
I guess the points, I don't know. I don't know what you think about the points, Grace. Maybe at this point, points have been so screwed up and have no history or anything to work from. Maybe it doesn't matter. Give them 300 points for it. I don't know. But
I mean, I guess they have to do something for the sprint race because otherwise, why would you bother, right?
Yeah. Well, to get your qualifying position, but if they're not giving points away for qualifying now, why is when this race is all it's doing is setting the grid for a qualifying taking the place of a qualifying session? Why is it any different?
Right.
So you basically have 2 qualifying sessions in a sense, right? Because you're qualifying on Friday for Saturday, and Saturday qualifies you for Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. And other than it's more wear and tear on the car and engine.
Right.
And
So
parts.
wasn't there some talk about how the engines?
Yes.
They got the limits on the engines or something.
Yeah. It looks like maybe they're going to vote this week on that and what that would look like. Because that would be my first question if I'm Toto or Christian or anyone really. Even Gunther, I'd say, okay, well, qualifying is qualifying. But if we're going to run a whole 17-lap sprint race, do we get more than 3 engines a year? Right. Do we get a special sprint race engine, or how does that work? Right.
And if you're at the back, do you even run?
Yeah, right.
Right.
You would if it was reverse grids.
Now that's a smart idea.
Yeah, that turned out real well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still just some some way that if you just focused on what you're already doing and made that better, then you wouldn't need these kind of shenanigans to make it seem better.
I just wonder what they're going to get up to in this qualifying race. What was it Lewis was saying? He thinks it's just going to be processional because no one's want to risk the car, which is true. No one wants to risk the car. And as we saw with that qualifying format they came up with a few years ago, you know, the teams will figure some way of screwing it all up, make it really silly. So.
What I think they actually need to do is bring back Pastor Maldonado or a similar driver and just randomly pick his grid spot. So after everybody qualifies Friday, you know, shake a bag full of numbers, pull it out. Now he's P6, just stick him in there and that'll make it interesting, right? Like just.
What car should he drive though?
I mean, stick him in his own
Haas.
Nice.
Put him in a Haas. That's great. Yeah, just stick him in there, and then that would spice it up, right? Then you'd have this total random element of where will Pastor Maldonado be?
Right. So.
You're enamored by this whole process.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my head around it. You make a good point.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the new Bartesian Duet home cocktail maker. The new Bartesian Duet, Bartesian's most compact cocktail maker, crafts premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Duet cocktail maker. And now, get our best deal ever on the new Bartesian Duet, plus free shipping when you go to bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian Duet is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. And now, get our best deal ever on the new Bartesian Duet, plus free shipping when you go to bartesian.com/cocktail. Hurry, offer ends soon. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail. Bartesian.com/cocktail.
Discover unbeatable deals and convenience at your neighborhood family fare supermarkets. Score exclusive deals, earn rewards, join clubs, and clip digital coupons for extra savings all in one place. Our exclusive offers bring savings straight to your card. Explore a wide range of local products that support your community. With easy pickup and delivery options, saving time and grocery shopping has never been easier. Family Fare is all about making your grocery experience easy and affordable and your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. Family Fare in your neighborhood.
We're running 23 race seasons. The whole points thing when it switched to top 6 to top 10. I mean, everything from you can't get that protective about the point concept or even totals and
the historical stats.
It's all gone.
Mean nothing.
Yeah, they mean nothing. You know, they really say, well. Yeah, but, Nico Hulkenberg scored more points than
Jimmy Clark.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter. So, so why not give him points? What the hell? Who cares? It's a sprint race. Let's go.
It's funny how much the 1 point just for the fastest lap has become a bit of a thing. Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do for 3 points.
Yeah. What would you do for 3 points, Grace?
Car acrobatic team, right? Like... Again, just like all in on the shenanigans is what I think they should do on Saturday.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is the front runners aren't going to fight too hard. Right. But you're going to see some people in the mid pack thinking they can jump a couple of rows.
Yeah, this is their chance.
That's where the fire is going to be amongst the Haas's and the Alfa Romeos.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point, Paul.
Thanks.
I'm glad you're here to make it.
Well,
Or more like, or maybe like the Alpines or somebody that's a little more mid-pack.
Right. Yeah, but you know what Ross Braun said this week about the sprint race?
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Wow, he's really lost his British accent.
He sounds so young.
Yeah. He does. Ever since he started working for the Americans.
Yeah, American company. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah. Living in Brooklyn or something.
No, he's living in Chicago.
Chicago or whatever. I can't tell you Americans different. So.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
You'll sound the same.
No, he said that he thinks all the drivers are going to really go for it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He has to. What is he going to say? I think I think it's going to be, a half-assed race, and nobody's really going to give a shit except for Alonso. He's not going to say that either. He has to support it, even if he thinks it's a stupid idea.
You're right, Grace. I think Stefano was sitting over there, with Venmo, sending him, okay, here's $500.
Hey, you know what Ross Brawn also said?
What?
No more DRS.
Exactly.
So I don't believe a word the guy says anymore.
It's true.
No matter what accent he's talking in.
Yeah, we gotta get off on. We gotta move off of this, or I'm gonna get upset, and you won't like me upset, Paul.
You have to spend the rest of the night with him, so I'm fine if he's upset.
No, I gotta go eat tapas with this guy.
Yeah, he's gonna really take it out on the waitress. He's gonna throw the dirty fork.
If you put the fork you put in your mouth on the group plate one more time, Charlie.
That's right. Hey, and sad news in Formula One, Carlos Reutemann passed away. He finished. If you're newer to F1, Carlos Reutemann. And Paul, Carlos Reutemann's career. Talk us through it.
I mean, he was always on the cusp.
Yeah.
And 1 year he was
like second.
He should have won the championship.
Right.
But unfortunately, in the last race, I think it was Caesar's Palace, where he just had to kind of finish in the top three.
Was it against PK?
Yeah, I think so. And he kind of just lost the plot, and I think the pressure got under him, and he just kind of drove around at half speed and ended up losing the championship for it. He was always like a Gerhard Berger type talent, where he can win races. Mm-hmm. He's for a team with a real big superstar. He's like a great support artist. He didn't play number two fiddle very well, but he was all, he would really boost, a 2-car team if you had Carlos Reutemann on it. Yeah. But I said he had one opportunity probably to win the world championship. He drove for some great teams for sure.
Yeah, well, for sure. He finished runner-up, as you mentioned, Formula One championship. It was Nelson Piquet in 81. After coming third in 75, 78, and 80. So, I mean, he's
thereabouts. Yeah.
He left the sport abruptly after the Brazilian Grand Prix in 82, having raced in 146 Grand Prix, 12 wins, 46 podiums. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's all.
A bit of an enigmatic character, I would say, in the F1 world, and considered the second best Argentinian driver behind Fangio. And I'm thinking, well, who wouldn't be? Right. So I don't know. I think that's actually high praise, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He finished racing, and then he really got into politics.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
quite a bit in Argentina.
I knew he was sick earlier this year, and then they thought he had made it through, and then I guess in the end it just kind of got him in the end, I suppose.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, sad news, Grace.
He drove some great teams, as I said, and he drove some of the coolest cars like the BT 44.
Yeah, he did. Brabham, Williams.
He drove the Williams.
Ferrari.
Yep. I mean, he was brought into some teams. We had people held highly of him and brought him in to, for success. And obviously it shows in his podiums, but just didn't get that championship.
Yeah. So our condolences to the Reutemann family. But Grace, a little before your time.
Yeah.
Watching for me.
Yes. I was going to make a segue, and then I figured I'd wait until we move to a different topic before making said segue.
Okay.
Don't you have to make the segue in between the topics?
Well, I actually was thinking about the tapas, and I was wondering if there were fried raviolis on the tapas in St. Louis. But then maybe this was a poor timing as an opportunity to bring that question up.
Carlos Reutemann passed away. Get some toasted ravioli while we're here.
Yeah, let's go.
That's how my brain works. I can't help it.
I don't think so. I think it's Italian tapas maybe, but we're going to Spanish tapas, which I think toasted ravioli is out.
I don't know.
But they do speak the same language as Carlos Reutemann.
There you go.
Or at least Spanish. They're thereabouts.
Okay.
Argentinian version of it.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll practice tonight.
Yeah.
Figure out how in Spanish to ask for fried raviolis as your tapas.
Que pasa, amigo? No pasa nada.
Yeah, really insult everybody in the place.
That's right.
Grace is no está aquí. Okay, Grace. Now, here's the follow-up to my canceled Australian Grand Prix.
All coming back around.
It's all coming back full circle. Apparently, Silverstone says they would be happy to jump in and host another race with Australia thrown in the towel, and rumors of possible issues with, count them, Mexico, Japan, and Brazil, the Silverstone circuit says they would be willing to host a second race later this year if that would help F1.
That's so generous of them.
Yes.
It could help you.
Isn't it?
Kind-hearted Silverstone people.
This is Grace. This is Silverstone paying for this weekend's race, but getting paid back later this year to bail them out and host a second race. So
get fans in the seats.
Right. They'd be net zero on the outlay of cash. So I think it's a brilliant move. If Austria
If that's how
can
it
do
works
it,
still. You think that's still how it would work? I think they might still have to pay something, but
maybe there's stipend.
I don't think the free or the paid for Grand Prix is going to happen anymore. They got 23 races. They could lose a couple. No one will notice.
Right.
We slept through half of them anyway. It's fine.
Well, Grace, they said, if we can help, Grace, you're going to love this. Here's the quote. If we can help by having a race later in the season, then we would be delighted to assist. Formula One deserves remarkable credit that they have completed 17 races last year. I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. The only global sport to have achieved such a feat. I would agree with that. And I hope they can complete the calendar again. And I would agree with that too. We have not been asked, and it's not a conversation that I have prompted, but if us hosting another race gets the championship to a sensible level, then of course we'll help. There is also some doubt or question about Turkey and Abu Dhabi. Turkey, Abu Dhabi, Mexico, Japan, and Brazil. That's 5 races.
That's a lot of races.
2 races in Austria, a 3rd race in Austria, and a couple in Silverstone.
A 3rd race in Austria?
Well, why not?
Yeah. What about Austin?
I know.
Wouldn't they
well,
threw
Bobby
their hat in the
Epstein
ring,
said,
didn't they?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think Bobby Epstein said we'd do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger Penske said he'd welcome Formula One back to Indy. Okay, then.
Yeah. No. No Rowell.
Yikes. Sorry I brought it up.
No, you're awesome.
Me and Grace are at that race. We've got more against it than you do.
Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. Grace lost money on that race.
Yeah, that's me.
Didn't even get a free set of Michelin tires out of it.
The least I should have gotten.
They should have given you a certificate for free Michelin tires, Grace.
They should have. I think they get free tickets for the next year. It was like, no.
Yeah, gee, thanks. Yes. That was like, you found something in your food and they're like, here, let us give you a gift certificate to the restaurant.
Yes. Right.
How about I'm never coming back here again? Thanks.
How about screw you, Indy? I'm done with you. Stupid people. So, yes, Grace, they're willing to help. It's awful magnanimous of Silverstone, Grace, and you just have to fess up.
I just love that they're like, nobody's asked us. We're just putting it out there. Like, nobody's talking about it, but if you wanted to.
Asked us, and I haven't even brought it up. Yeah. But here I am in the press telling the whole world that we would be happy to.
Every time he comes home, did Ross call?
He's playing back the answering machine, right?
Just again, yeah, check it. Yeah.
You have 4 messages. This is Ross. Yeah. So apparently, they're gonna jump in and bail them out, and I'm all for that. But I hope we're not at risk here with 5 races.
Yeah.
A couple of these. Okay, look, if Abu Dhabi fell off, I'm not sure I'd reach for the tissue box. But I do kind of like me some turkey.
Yeah, turkey's good. Well, It's been off, it's been on, now it's going off again.
Right.
What's going on over there?
I love Japan.
Yeah.
That one I would say is
and Brazil
tenuous.
Can be pretty fun at times. I mean, when you're not having your key motorhome robbed and your laptop stolen like Williams.
Right. You're not being gassed in your hotel room so they can sneak in and steal your stuff.
Or a gun held to your head trying to get an autograph.
So did you hear the story that Lando got robbed at the soccer game, right?
No, I didn't tell.
That's what happened. And so when Flip told me about it, I was like, they were just trying to get his autograph. And then I realized I had to tell the story that goes with that comment. Like, otherwise I really just sound like a jerk. But that's what Bernie Eccleston said about Jensen Button.
Right.
They're just friendly fans.
So Lando got robbed.
Yeah.
I mean, he got mugged or his house got robbed
he got mugged, leaving the game, getting into his McLaren road car.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'd be driving my McLaren to That's
You still shouldn't get robbed, but I hear what you're saying, right? Drive the Civic or something, right?
Something to show up to a football game. You don't pull up in a McLaren.
Would you roll up in a 720?
No.
Hopping out with all your gold?
No, I wouldn't expect it to be there by the time I came back, actually.
Right.
You know?
He only travels in cars with doors like this, right? Not doors like this.
Right.
Where was the match at?
Wimbledon. Wimbledon.
Oh, it was in
Wimbledon. That was another game.
I know, that was the old tennis.
Yeah. Earlier in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it was in Wembley.
Yeah, it was Wembley, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or maybe it was Italian fans, taking it out on the English McLaren. I don't know why they would, because they won, but...
Well, that's what I tweeted. I said, it all comes down to this, and everybody's like, oh, bring it home. But we have this every race weekend, Italy versus the England, right?
Ooh, I wonder if the Ferrari team are going to put anything on their car.
Oh, they should. Bring it home.
Oh, man.
On the Ferrari. If I was the Scuderia.
But in Italian, so none of us know what's saying.
So Grace.
Maybe that's what Mission Winnow was all about.
Maybe Mission Winnow was really bring it home.
Yeah.
See, if I was Ferrari, I would show up at the British Grand Prix and I would put stickers on there that says in Italian, bring it home.
Oh.
Brought it home. Even better.
Brought it home.
That would be.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man. And then Grace's Woking folks would go nuts.
We thought the beer cans at the Indy Formula One race were bad.
Yeah. That would really amp up the whole battle between Zach and the boys and Mattia.
We're really delving into this thing. We're really dissecting the sport right now.
They should double down on this and just keep that Euro 2021 craze going between Italy and England. It'd be good.
Right.
All right. Hey,
it's like every team but two against those two.
Right. So Grace, what did he lose? Like his credit cards and his.
I know they stole his watch.
Oh.
But I think it was more just
the watch he wears is one of those million.
Yeah. Oh, would he? Jeez. Well, he pulled up in a McLaren, so I guess he'd be wearing his Richard Mille watch too.
Yeah, I think the Mille watch probably $150,000 watch.
So, McLaren's racing statement: incident involving Lando Norris at Wembley Stadium last night. McLaren Racing can confirm that Lando Norris was involved in an incident after the Euro 2020 final match at Wembley, during which the watch he was wearing was taken. Thankfully, Lando was unharmed, but he is understandably shaken. The team is supporting Lando, and we are sure that racing fans will join us in wishing him all the best for the British Grand Prix this weekend.
Yeah.
Now it's a police matter, and we can't make any more comments.
Yeah. That's a horrible thing to happen to somebody. Yeah.
Especially Lando.
Yeah.
Well, anybody. I mean, it's a shock to anybody's system that kind of stuff happens.
Well, Nikita?
Huh? Oh. Well, Mazepin, no, he's probably the guy that did it.
Just
go over there. I know he's got a good watch. I've been eyeing it up all season.
Yeah. I do like that Marzipan is taking it to Gunther Steiner, like the whole top and the fork smash door thing. Like, because clearly Gunther was not okay with that. He's definitely that guy that likes to dish it, but is not okay taking it back. Yeah. I enjoyed that immensely, and I hope that continues because that guy, he needs that.
Yeah, Gunther has to.
Yeah. He has to because Nikita's dad pays him
his salary now.
But it's like he trolled the wrong person. Like, sure, you troll Roman Grosjean, who's just a nice guy, and it's like, okay, you're right. I guess I suck. Nah, it was not what Nikita Mazepin was doing at all.
You're trolling these guys. You're drinking uranium.
Yeah,
in your tea. That's never good.
You're walking across the courtyard, and all of a sudden there's a little prick in your arm, and boom, you're down.
That's right.
So, what was it? Yeah, it's not good.
No, watch out, Gunther.
That's right.
Somewhere, somebody was a member of KVD somewhere long ago or whatever.
Not that long ago.
All right. Grace, hit us with some Albon's cats.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, I know. Paul's new favorite feature. Yeah. So, first on Albon's cats. So, I wanted to say that in both of the races at Austria, they did this camera shot through that pine tree.
Yes.
I feel like they were like, we heard that Monaco's cameramans weren't working so hard, but look at this shot we got. They used it at both races multiple times, this like shot of the track coming through this same pine tree. It was like, oh, it's back. There's the pine tree. I don't know. It was like their shot du jour for both races.
That is funny. They kept doing that. I was like, I enjoyed it the first 12 times I saw that angle. You know.
And then in all this, like all the practice sessions, like they just
and they're like taking turns. Move over. It's my turn.
I get to do that pine tree shot.
The guy's charging like $20 for it.
Yeah.
Okay, Nate, you stand there, take a shot.
You get up in the cherry picker, you get to take it, right?
Right.
I also think from now on, so with all the Stewart's rulings, I like how the like sections are divided into fact, offense, decision, and reason. I feel like this is how I should do all my communications. Here's the fact. Here's what you did wrong. Here's why I decided it, and here's the reason you're doing this, right? Like. If I knew like it's probably good I don't have kids, right? Like I just like when they get sent to the room, just slide that under their door. Like, here's what you did. Here's the fact.
I like it.
Here's my decision, and here's why I made that decision. Yes.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's just a great way. So
what they do at the Warwick House.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then in actual Albon cat news, they got 2 new cats.
What?
Look at them. They're adorable. A little fluffy gray cat.
Oh, they're gray cats.
Why did they get 2 new ones? How many do they have now?
I think they have like 5 cats, but they also have a donkey and a dog. Like there's more than just cats. I think they have like 5. But so yes, it's Ducky and Goose.
Sounds like hilarious cartoon comedy.
It sure is.
They just need an alpaca.
An alpaca, yeah.
They probably have one. They seem. So there's some actual Albon cat news in the Albon cat section.
Well, that's good.
He's been like 10 times this year now, so he's got time to go to the shop and buy some more cat.
Oh, and then
support cat.
Yeah, yeah.
You might. I mean, a fluffy gray cat would be
Russell.
You're just like him.
Why can't I be in Mercedes?
Wow.
Yeah, that was passionate.
Why didn't Lewis get penalized when I went on the outside? Right.
Ooh, yes, nice.
Sergio's not doing that well.
This could be his own Instagram accounts.
It could be.
And then I did also want to briefly, because I know you also watch Hell's Kitchen, and I wanted to see what you thought about the new season.
Well, I've got this for that. Do you watch this?
No.
Oh, you don't know this music. This is when people get kicked out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that the same music from the very beginning? I saw it the first few seasons, and
you just gave up on it.
I kind of. Yeah. There's just so many Beef Wellington scenarios that I can live myself through. Risotto.
Yeah.
You're going to kill me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy it.
And the really bad acting from the people getting fed in the room.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah. They're getting married. Oh, look, Susie and Joe. You're ruining their wedding with your Beef Wellington. Yes, our wedding is really ruined.
So disappointed. This is supposed to be my magic day, Paul. I'm beside myself that the red team couldn't get it together.
The red team, they all came here having never made a risotto before, as if they've never watched the previous 19 seasons of the show and know that they have to know how to make one.
Right. No, I am.
Well, I mean.
Yes.
All right. Well,
they don't
Top Chef
win
also
a restaurant either anymore, do they? The first episode, I thought the first year of Hell's Kitchen they won a restaurant, and then the prizes now it's down to like $20 coupon at the gift shop
at BLT Steak, right?
You become a head chef at one of his restaurants.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
a head chef.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and like $250,000.
Okay,
salary.
That's fair enough then.
Yeah, I mean,
Paul's in now.
I'm in. I'm going to apply.
Yeah. I can do a Pop-Tart. I can do a Hot Pocket. Yeah.
My wife can make a Beef Wellington though, so that's good.
Yeah. That's good. Well, here's my contribution to Albon's Cats, Grace.
All right.
I saw this in one of those British rags over there. And they were saying, hey, here's Lewis Hamilton's spreads. It's not easy being Lewis, because they reported that he has a 32 million pound penthouse in New York.
Okay.
On the Hudson. and an 18 million pound mansion in London, and a Monte Carlo retreat as well.
Fully expected.
Yep.
I thought we had a place in LA.
I thought he had a place in Colorado.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It's when he's doing all that skiing and taking his shots.
Right.
And he's furry ski outfit.
Yes. With his brother. Yes.
He's got a lot of houses.
He's got a lot of houses.
And they're probably valued at very high amounts.
He's got a lot of dosh.
Yeah.
And they all are furnished with some wacky LG appliances.
With the LG commercials. Yeah. Have you seen the new Cisco WebEx commercials with McLaren?
Oh, yes.
And Zach?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah, they're great. Zach's like standing at a podium and says, "Oh, welcome to," he's like, Zach's not going to be an actor anytime soon, but he's like, "Welcome to, the McLaren WebEx or whatever," and then it says, "Do we have any questions?" The first question is, "Yeah, get out of the way. Could we see Lando?" He's like, "Yeah, could we bring Lando in?" So Lando comes in, and they have this whole, well, who's the better fans, the Germans, the English, and then he goes, "Well, let's have a poll." So they do a little poll in a WebEx, which is like, feature rudimentary
How long
level
is this
number
commercial?
one. It's kind of long, and then at the very end, it just has Echo. Let's go racing.
I like the clip in the beginning where they have Andrea Seidel sitting on who also can't act, right? Like also great, trying to be really like. Yeah, peppy and animated, which is also really not who he is, right? So he's like, I need that data now, right? Like trying to be like, that's my favorite. I'm like, how many times did they have to clip that, run that clip for him to be like,
right?
I need it now. No, look tougher. I need it now.
It's like Patrick Head. Yeah. Right. So the other commercial is still McLaren, but they got like a woman at one location and like race engineers at the track. It's like, okay, well, we need the part right now. Okay, well, we're drawing it, and then it's a wheel nut. They're like, everybody's apoplectic on this conference call because they don't have a wheel nut and they're getting ready to box. You might have pulled that out prior. And
hold on, I'm trying to reboot the 3D printer. Hold on.
And just FYI, the wheel nuts are already on the wheels when you put
right.
They never leave the wheel.
Yeah, so
it's enjoyable. Those commercials were enjoyable. Not in a good way, but enjoyable.
I got a lot of like entertainment value out of that.
All right. Especially, I was gonna say because we get more commercials now.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Formula One being carried on ESPN, but it's still not a lot of different commercials. So about the third time they show it, I've now created new dialogue for what they're actually saying, right? Like you were saying, get the hell out of the way, Zach. We want to see Lando. We don't care about you.
Hey, Paul, notice on this image, the sun's coming out, and I almost have like this halo over me.
Yeah, I've noticed it before.
Like, you've noticed it before. Hey, what the hell do you want for free?
Right. It's free. Damn it, free.
Podcast. What do you want, man?
Yeah. Special effects? No, we're just going to set up in front of a sun.
Come on, Paul, do it with me. Is this what you want?
It's what you want.
That's an old favorite of Paul's. Yeah. All right. Hey, Grace, let's do some.
You got mail.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
All right, Grace, you're up. You're going to answer all of these.
Excellent. Good idea. This is going to be very informative.
Right.
I can feel it.
So Andrew Page asked this. He says, so a question for all of you. Well, thankfully, Andrew, just so happens we're all here. Like most fans of the sports, I spend probably a bit too much time looking out for articles, news segments, and features that have Formula One content in them, then mentally download this, digest it, et cetera, et cetera. So over the years, and I'm showing my age now, this has gone from watching the race on a Sunday with my father to reading print newspapers and magazines to the present day where we have podcasts, 10,000 websites that seem just to repost other people's work, and YouTube that has great content like McLaren Unboxed, for example, and TPF, of course, the Parc Fermé. I was wondering, what are your go-to sources of information that perhaps other listeners do not know about that we may find interesting? Thanks, Andrew Page. That's a great question, Paul. Yeah. I'm inclined to say that don't all three of us just go to the Parc Fermé? Or...
Yeah, that's all I do. I write an article. No, I don't really write articles.
I was going to say, we don't contribute, but we read it.
That's a joke.
That is funny.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, inside joke.
There used to be a day that you used to author stuff, and Grace used to author stuff, but those days are long.
It was the comments. I couldn't handle the backlash.
I know. Well,
and the last straw was the cardboard box thing.
I know.
I know. It's like, okay, well, I guess I don't have a personality, so I guess I'll just bow out.
Right. And I bring it up once in a while that I get all this hate mail and wicked comments and stuff, and then in the reviews it's like, oh, somebody just can't do it. It comes with the territory. It's like, yeah, I know it comes with the territory, but it shouldn't, and that's my point. I'm not over at Autosport. I'm not over at the race website just slamming on people I don't agree with, and it shouldn't come to that. But unfortunately, it does.
I think it's also different if it's like what you said about Lewis Hamilton. I don't agree with that, right? That's the idea, as opposed to Todd, I think you're terrible, or Paul, you're about as interesting as a cardboard box, right? Those are different kinds of negative comments.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's insults and there's constructive criticism.
Yeah, as hard as I try, and it's just a reality of life, is that not everyone's going to like you or like your personality, and I apologize, but that's just the way it is.
But you just keep getting better, like a glass of wine.
See how she did that?
Not like a genius. Not like a fine wine, like a glass.
Box wine.
Yeah.
No, a really big glass.
Fine wine.
Just filled up to here.
I'm like a little bit of red wine in a huge glass.
You fill it all the way to the top, because if my Starbucks doesn't come all the way to the rim, then I'm counting the amount of money I'm wasting.
That's right.
My glass better be full tonight. That's what I'm
saying. Andrew, Andrew, I tend to do most of the reading. So, of course, social media is one place, and all the official accounts, like all the official team accounts, the official Formula One accounts. That being said, look, we've never said that we are a F1 news journalist site. That's not kind of what we are. But I really do like I think there are key F1 journalists that do a fabulous job. Some of them, people like Mark Hughes, those guys, Nigel Roebuck, those
So the
guys.
motorsport site is, because of Mark Hughes, is very good.
Right. And he's over at the race too. I think he penned some stuff for those guys over there. And Ed Straw and all those guys, Scott and everybody over at the race, they all do a really good job. I don't agree with them all the time, of course, and that's okay. I think, sometimes, I don't know, I don't agree with everything, but nor would they agree with everything with me. And that's okay. And I still respect what they do. I think Autosport/Motorsport, Jonathan Noble does a great job. I think, who's the guy over at BBC? It's going to drive me nuts now. I should know this. Anyway, Adam Cooper, there's some legacy guys and journalists that have been covering the sport and doing so in a wonderful fashion for years. And I tend to look to those guys because they have that tremendous, rich history of covering the sport for years and years.
Right.
And when you have that kind of history, you can sort of juxtapose current things with past things, and you really can see and start connecting dots, And I don't mean this in a bad way, but that mad rush to just hire a bunch of 20-somethings now.
Yeah, throw out a headline.
And with no history in the sport, no way to couch what's going on with history beyond what's Googled. That's just white noise to me. It doesn't add anything to the sport. It's just mind vomit to me. So I tend to look for the legacy people that have been covering the sport a long time, who know what's going on in the paddock.
Yeah.
Yep.
I call my brother.
And you call your brother, who knows practically everybody there.
There you go. I guess I would just in addition to that, because I agree too that I believe those journalists, much like a chef, right? You don't follow a restaurant, you follow the chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
So same idea. So even though they've worked at different outfits, I wouldn't follow Autosport, right? I'd follow Mark Hughes, right? So you think about it that way, that those are good journalists wherever they kind of end up at any given time. But I would also, this isn't necessarily news, but I think whenever something makes no sense, the first place I go to is Chain Bear. He does great videos with great visuals of crap that I don't understand sometimes. So I'd put that out there as well. If you're, and I think it's also very helpful if you have a new fan that's like, why was that a big deal? And I kind of like, well, I don't know. And his videos is much more succinct than any explanation that I'm ever going to give. So I would put that out there, that if you're new or you're not necessarily, a car person, but you like watching racing, but you kind of still have to understand how the cars work, or all the squiggly uppity bits, as Sam Collins would say, right? All that kind of stuff.
Definitely don't go to the pre-race on the F1 TV app for any kind of useful information.
Is that just... I don't even know is it just Crofty making...
No, not even Crofty. It's Will and a host of people. I don't know who they are, and I don't even know why they're there, but it doesn't seem it's because of their knowledge of the sport for sure. But they do talking big, and they look very excited about what's going on. Very excited.
Yeah.
There was actually there was a woman on recently on the Austrian Grand Prix. The second one was actually very good, and I can't remember her name, but she was the first one on that pre. I know Will's good. Will's good, fine. But I think he's kind of in a place that doesn't allow him to be what he can be. But because they're kind of owned by the sport, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's a little different, that whole thing. But there was I'll try and remember her name, but she was new to me, at least on the pre-race, and she had a lot of good, intelligent things to say. So I can't knock them all, but most of them I can.
Yeah, and it goes the guy from Sky too. When Martin does a post-race, commentary, and obviously Martin's great at it, and Anthony Davis and Paul DeResta and those guys,
right?
They all do a great job.
And before we go, you can't not mention Ted's Notebook, that I have to legally watch when somebody posts it on YouTube for me.
Yeah, you got to go find it in YouTube, but Ted's Notebook is awesome. I love Ted. Ted does a great job.
Always entertaining. And that he wanders off a lot. I feel for his cameraman sometimes, because he's just like, where the hell did he go this time? Because he just kind of like wanders off doing whatever,
Right. So the final one, Keith, you had a final one, and you were talking about the blocking and drivers running other drivers off the road. And do me a favor, Keith. I want to answer this, and I kind of felt like we did last week. But in reading this, if I didn't, or we didn't sort of cover that in the way that you're asking, let me know. Go to the mailbag session and just let me know, or fine tune it. But I did get your question, and it was talking about the penalties. And
he works for a DPI team, so he's in the same paddock as me.
Is he?
So he can come ask me.
Yeah, just go down to the paddock and ask Paul. Yeah. He's right there. Yeah, there you go. So
ask him about DRS too while you're at it. Get him really worked up.
So anyway, let me know, Keith, if we didn't cover it, or if there's an element of that that we didn't cover last week. So let me know what you're thinking.
It was a big discussion.
It was a big discussion. So.
Of course.
I know you're always intent in listening to dissecting the podcast when you're not on.
Yes, that is exactly what happens. No, do I think there should have been penalties? No, I don't think that. I think there are racing incidents.
But what's your opinion on room to race, not room to race? Who has the right to bump someone off the corner if they're on the inside and not if they're on the other side?
Well, if you're on the outside, right, that's always the risk, right? That you're gonna, that's the risk. But I think the thing that was interesting is that a lot of, I'm going to just say, maybe uninformed or newer to the sport, we'll just pass them somewhere else. I don't think you understand how this works, right? At any track, there is only X number of spots where you can pass them, and it's always a number less than 5, usually less than 3. And so you kind of have to take your moment when you see it. You don't really have the ability to
and places to pass, and as you say, moments are even fewer and far between.
Right. Yeah. So, and like as they always say, right, catching them is one thing, getting around them is another, right? So I think that the idea of like, well, they just shouldn't have taken that move, or they just shouldn't have done that. Like, you have to go for it because you may not get another shot. It's just not that often. So,
all right, we got to wrap it up. And
I think
yes, Grace.
I'm sorry. I think when the only positive people can come up with is at least they were consistent. That's pretty terrible, right?
Yeah, right.
That's like not a compliment at all. That is the lowest thing somebody can find to say. He seemed nice. Like that's where that rates, right? Like
that's right.
Yeah,
all right. That does it for this podcast, but be sure to stop by the website, theparcfermé.com. Just share your opinion with decorum and civility. As always, if you like the podcast, go to iTunes, give us a good rating over there, give us some love, or on whatever podcast player that you listen to. If you listen, you can also see us on YouTube. Because I'm putting these up on YouTube, and hopefully I can get this put up on YouTube. And so anyway, until next week when we come back, Paul and I shall return to review the
qualifying race. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Let's just review the sprint race only.
Just sprint race only. That's it.
Right. That'd be perfect. All right. Until that time, when we come back, this is Todd, aka Negative Camber, saying so long. Grace?
See you in 2 weeks.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. I don't feel I've got to prove at all. I don't really want to prove anything. I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion. I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.